Good morning, everybody. It's Rob. It's day 12 on our daily discipline. It's Saturday morning, October 27th. Fixing to go to Sam's football game here. And I got a couple my daughters here with one of her cousins. So we've got to head out here in a couple minutes. So I apologize. I'm a little late with my video, but we're here. Better late than never. So yesterday, our song of the day was Hall of Fame. Man, I must have listened to that song 10 times. Loud. I liked it loud. Thinking about if you dedicate yourself, you look around and find yourself in the Hall of Fame. One of our friends here, that's his ringtone when he calls me because he thinks he belongs in the Hall of Fame, but I think he's the only one that thinks that way. So there's probably a lesson in there for us to have a little perspective too. You're welcome. And then I also got a nudge this morning from one of my new subscribers. Chewy, thank you. Appreciate you, man. You are a disciplined man, so I'm going to listen to you. And then, I just want to share with you something that my dad and I talked about. He's a little reluctant to make a video now, so we may not get him on this trip, right? But that's okay. So I'll just tell you what you need to know. I've told you repeatedly about how my dad's a pretty simple dude, right? But what I didn't tell you is how he grew up and, where he is today. So my dad, as a young child, was given up by his parents to become a ward of the state, maybe? I don't know. So he had a pretty rough childhood. Grew up in a boys' home. A lot of times they were sending him out to live in foster homes. And a lot of those foster homes, basically it was people working the system to get free help for their farm. So he tells stories about being Sam's age and driving a full-size tractor with a disc behind it, plowing the ground. And like I was talking to one of my nieces yesterday, there are things that the General Lee talks about, and there are things that he doesn't talk about, and he never talks about the bad things that happened to him. And you just know they did, right? Like, there's no way that bad things didn't happen to him, yet he kept going. And so it would have been very easy for the General Lee to just become another statistic, but he found that strength, right? I talked yesterday about how the people that touched him, in ways that, he's still talking about them. But he persevered. And, he told me the story about, I asked him, I said, did you ever allow yourself to dream? And if so, what were those dreams? And he said, yeah. He loved playing basketball. The headmaster from the school took him to go watch, I think it was the Globetrotters or something. He got to see these kids come out and be introduced with the spotlights on them. And the music was playing and everybody's cheering and the hand over the heart for the national anthem. He's like, I want to be one of those guys. And as I believe I heard the story, that he worked himself into like an all-star game or something like that where he actually got to do that. And in that moment he's like, look, I accomplished my goal. And it's amazing how for a lot of us we would look at that and be like, well, we just did it one time, right? Watch the movie Field of Dreams, right? You get to do it once, you got to do it, right? The other thing, he said then after that he wanted to be a Marine because his older brother was in the Marines, so he joined the Marines. In the middle of the Vietnam War, my dad forged his headmaster's signature to join the Marines. Basically signing up for, I want to go to war, that's better than what I'm doing here. But he did it, right? And then he said that when he was sitting on guard duty, I don't remember whether this was in Vietnam or the United States. It doesn't really matter. He said that he would sit there and he would hear the trucks go by, the semis, downshift and all that. And he said he thought to himself, man, I'm going to do that someday. And then he tells the story about he comes home, he's a mess, and finally somebody says, you need to do that, right? Try that. Save yourself. And he did. And here he is now driving around the country. There's half the time up in Illinois. Half time he's out in Arizona. He's got a beautiful truck, a beautiful rig. He wasn't supposed to get that far, right? And so every time I want to give up, he's one of the people I look at and be like, look, bro, like, you're pampered ass. Like, good is the enemy of great. You grew up just good enough that you think it's not good enough, right? I owe it to my dad to keep going. I owe it to my kids. I owe it to all of you to check in here and make sure I'm still going. So thank you for the motivation. Surprising how I feel better already. I laid in bed for an hour and a half thinking, what am I going to tell them? I'm sick. Wow. Boo hoo. Feeling better already, right? So thank you. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Hands up. Peace out. Love you, miss you, bye. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day. See you, Chewy. Love you, man.